Hey guys, Mal here, and today we're going to take a look at hooking up multiple HBHF sensors to a single alarm. This is something that I've had a number of requests for, and it's actually a bit trickier than you might think. See, if only one person is in front of a sensor, then the HBHF sensor only outputs one power. Now if this was a single HBHF sensor to an alarm, it wouldn't be an issue. However, because we want to have multiple sensors to the one alarm, we need to connect them all up after the HBHF sensor. Doing that is going to require more than the potential one power that is being output. That's where things get more tricky, and the best solution that I've come up with is this circuit. Now don't worry, this isn't as daunting as it may seem at first glance. So for starters, each of these columns represent a different wall or place that you want to sensor. They're identical, so you nail the first one and the rest is relatively easy. Let's take a look at connecting one of the columns so you understand what's going on here. For each HBHF sensor you want, we are going to need 2 E branches, 1 AND switch, and 1 HBHF sensor. So starting at the beginning, we run our power source into an E branch. Run the branch out from there into the second E branch. Run the branch out on the second E branch to the power in on the HBHF sensor. Now run the power out on the second E branch into the AND switch, and then the power out on the HBHF sensor into the other input on the AND switch. Hopefully you're keeping up with me at this point. So this is what we're going to need whenever we're wanting to have a sensor. For the sake of this guide, I'm using 4 sensors, which should be enough to cover most bases fairly well. That being said, you can add more if needed. When you're ready to add another, you can use the power out on the first E branch to power the first E branch on your next circuit, and then repeat the previous steps for the new sensor. Once you've got this part sorted, you should have your sensors around your base, each connected into their own little circuit like these. So now we need to connect all of the sensors into one big circuit, so that they all set off one alarm. To do this, we're going to need some OR switches. Essentially, we're going to funnel the circuits through OR switches until we come out with one output. So in your first row of OR switches, you'll need 1 OR switch for every 2 AND switches you have. Run the power out from your AND switches into the inputs on your OR switches. Next, add another row of OR switches, 1 for every 2 in the row below. Run the outputs from the first row of switches into the inputs on the new row. Now depending on how many sensors you've set up, there could be a few more rows. Because we're only using 4 sensors for this example, we've already hit the point where the entire circuit is coming into one single output. Once you're at that point, you need to connect the final OR switch into the alarm. Which alarm you go with is up to you, whether it's lights, audio, or even a broadcaster, so you know if someone is near your base while you're out roaming via a pager. The final step is to go through your first row of E branches and configure the power. Each branch needs to be set at least 6 power for this circuit to function. You don't need to worry about the second row because they only need to send out 2 power, which is default. Also, don't forget to set the HBHF sensors to exclude authorized. In total, this circuit with the 4 sensors will cost you 129 high qual and 4 tech trash. It takes 28 power to run this circuit, and while this can be achieved with solar panels, honestly I'd recommend getting a wind turbine. It'll save you a lot of hassles with power management and will give you an excess of power for anything else you want to connect to the circuit. Thanks for watching, I'll see you guys in the next video.